Need a coat of stain? Is your deck showing wear? If you've got work to do, Chattanooga Paint and Decorating can help. For exterior paint, stains, sealants, and supplies, stop by Chattanooga Paint and Decorating today on Hickson Pike across from Valvoline or on ChattanoogaPaint.com. Get an extra 10% off. Just say you heard it on the radio.
Nooga Radio 92.7 wants you to see the Geico 500 in Talladega, April 29. When you hear the engines roaring
on your smartphone, text Nooga Radio at NASCAR 33222. That's NASCAR 33222.
Then be listening Wednesday, the 25th, day at 5:50 p.m. You hear your name on Nooga Radio 92.7. The tickets to the race, including a 2-night overnight stay and free food, is yours. The Nooga Radio 92.7 NASCAR Big Geico 500 giveaway from the radio station that puts you in the winner's circle.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Now, the smartest guy with a bow tie in Chattanooga, Tennessee, David Toulis.
Near is better than far, small than big, and simple than complex in the David Toulis Nooga-centric analysis, for which you come for a moment every day to sample, just a sample every day. And hopefully over time, you will think more Nooga-centrically, more provincially, and be richer for it and be more personable for it. We're trained by the media, we're trained by the internet and our use of digital media to not give too much value to personal connection, too much value to personal relationships, and rather we prize mass relationships with other people's avatars or names, and we have all kinds of friendships and connections that are, I would say, tenuous at best. Tenuous. I argue that personal is better than corporate. Down in the footnotes, this is in the 5-point type, Helvetica without the serifs, and that physical is better than abstract. Now, that's not always true, but if you have, say, if you have money or currency that is physical and makes reference in the writing on the bill to physical money, you are going to be much richer and your security much more sure. Think if you have currency and mediums of exchange which are entirely digital, and even cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin that don't refer to anything real but are purely ideosphere media of exchange, well, you are probably going to be poorer. And the people who are presenting this medium of exchange, this Bitcoin or this dollar, if they're not bound by law and bound by the physical world, they're going to make a lot of those dollars, right? They're going to make billions and billions of them. They're going to make trillions of them for their benefit and the benefit of their hangers-ons, their friends, and their supporters, right? They're guarantors. Especially if that guarantor is the government, that guarantor will get a lot of benefit from that relationship. In the world of fractional reserve, the world of fiat money, making value from nothing, making promises to pay the actual payment, and getting very, very far from our nostrum here on the David Toulis Show that physical it really is better than abstract in many, many ways. I mean, right, think about being married in the abstract, right? Well, marriage is physical. It has a human and bodily component, and who would ever want to sacrifice that for something that's purely abstract? So, and I think these nostrums are not always and universally true, right? But they're generally true, and to think of them especially together, I say might be a benefit to us here in Chattanooga. I wanted to mention the arrest in the earlier part of the month in Cleveland of Valdacia Whaley, 17 years old, and 3 young men, Austin Trey Dodd, Raekwon Dodd, and Jashawn Hill. These are young people. I think the youngest is 17. That's Valdacia, and the oldest probably among them is in his early 30s. Friends and family members of Valdacia. Also friends and family members of Jamichael Parks and Terrell Parks, his cousin, who were involved in the videography, the phone capturing of that arrest, and who were themselves arrested for exercising their constitutional rights to report on and record and witness public events by state actors in a public place in which there is no expectation of privacy at all, and who actors who should know the difference between observation and interference. And of course, the temptation of the cop is to say, well, you're interfering. You have to stand way over there. Well, there's standing way over there or standing here. Neither is an interference, and neither is less an interference than what I'm doing right now. And I'm just standing here 30 feet from what you're doing, or 20 feet from what you're doing, and I'm not interfering. There's no harm. I'm not in your way. In fact, you have to stop what you're doing to come over here to talk to me, right? So you're the one interfering your own work by pretending that the onlooker with my camera or my audio recorder, that I'm the one who's interfering with you. Well, no, you're interfering with me. And I'm exercising a constitutionally guaranteed right. So you just get back to work and we'll be fine. You do your duty and be a good officer and be faithful to the Constitution and respectful of the citizenry. And I, as a member of the public, which means you're a member of the press, right? With my recording device and my record keeping, I am minding my business and exercising my rights. And let's just do our duty and be just and right with each other. But that did not happen in Cleveland on April the 8th. And it was a 45-minute ordeal for the people in the car, and also for, well, a bit more time for them and a little bit less time for the two onlookers, Jamichael Parks and Terrell. Terrell is a college student looking into a bachelor's degree, I think, or an associate's degree in criminal justice. And Jamichael, 33 years old, bachelor, lives in the next county. It works in carrying Zantac and Q-tips to Chicago and Tallahassee and places like that for a trucking company. He's a truck driver. And they captured this encounter. Read his affidavit at yournews.com. That's yournews.com, also at nuganomics.com. But the story is about, that I want to ask about, is of the abusive flapping of the tongue by deputies. The deputies, according to Valdacia, did several things that were highly, highly objectionable, and these are causes for legal action, I would say, and for sure causes for administrative action in Bradley County. And Sheriff Eric Watson, he's the chief of these deputies. He is the sheriff, and he needs to hold these men to account. They need to be fired for their use of the F word. And specifically, Valdacia 17 says that in her presence, one officer made a demand that one of the people in the car get back in or sit on his MFing A word. Okay, that was one expression in the presence of a minor. Okay, this is a girl, a minor, who heard from the lips of a state actor this demand. And it was also referenced, as she told me, to her A word, as she said it in an interview, and that she should sit on it and mind her own business, or she was going to jail. And she was hectored and harangued, and she was also sexually groped. There was a sexual abuse act made upon her by the female deputy involved in this traffic stop in Cleveland, where Valdacia says that the deputy kept pressing her groin very hard, insisting that there was something hidden up it. Okay, that was what the suggestion was, and this woman was pressing repeatedly and harshly against this teenager's private parts in public. Now, that's one thing to do it in a sequestered area, and it's another to do it in a gas station parking lot with cars passing left and right, and people at nearby pumps filling their cars with gasoline at the gas station. This is a question that I have for you. And also, if we read the affidavit at yournews.com, again, that's yournews.com, go to the Chattanooga. It's the Chattanooga version of that page. If you go down to the bottom of all the hairy, scary national and international news at the top of the website, you'll see the affidavit. And there we have also the use of the word that begins with the letter M and has the letter F in the middle of it. And there, the demand by Deputy Dale Liner was mind your MFing business and get your A word in the gas station. Now, the deputy approached the man with the camera and grabbed it from him and pressed his flesh against this innocent citizen, demanding that he stop. And in fact, he prevented a video account from being made of that arrest. An arrest, I would suggest, was made on very specious grounds that one of the people in a car parts store moments before smelled of marijuana. That was the allegation made by a deputy who called her brave colleagues in Eric Watson's sheriff's department. And these other colleagues descended in 6 cruisers and at least 6 personnel to seize the contraband in a search that was made without permission, presumably under probable cause, without a warrant. And again, that was with a pretense of lawfulness, again, of the white legal political establishment in Bradley County against the people whose names, as you heard them, might suggest their race. The names are Raquan and Jashawn and Valdacia. These are names of 3 of the 4 people in that case. David Toulis, the number 800-8949, 800-8949. Now, I wanted to mention correspondence. I have a letter from Grenda Harmer, who is in Morgan County Correctional Complex. It's a letter to Governor Haslam, and it is about the way people who are held in segregation in the slave system that Tennessee government runs. It is a slave system because slavery is constitutional in Tennessee for those duly convicted. In the slave system run by state government, there is a distinction made between those held apart for separation by virtue of their evil or by virtue of their innocence. Now, one group of people are separated because they are dangerous to others, and another set are separated because they are threatened by others, as Grenda Harmer has been. And in fact, he's been complaining about abusive treatment and harassment, as Sharon Mondeau is reporting at the post-email.com, that officers have been coming in the middle of the night and waking up Grenda Harmer from his sleep. And there have been other claims by him of negligence and harassment over the past 18 months, including lack of supervision of gang member who had accosted him, discontinuation of prescription medications, as well as Grenda's being a bit of an explorer here, ghost jobs where inmates are administratively having an employment and are paid something, but there is no actual work. So there seems to be some kind of fraud involved between the Department of Corrections and Core Civic, which is the contractor, the for-profit contractor that runs prisons, many prisons in Tennessee and overseas here in Helena County, the Silverdale facility. Now, the problem in the letter to Governor Haslam is on segregation. There's punitive segregation, and then there's what's called protective custody, separation of inmates from the general population for the purpose of providing a level of safety for inmates requiring such. And then punitive is the confining. Okay, one is separation. The other is confining of an inmate as a result of a disciplinary conviction for no longer than 30 days as punishment for the commission of an infraction. So you have in the jail, you have a separate jail for those who commit infractions, and that's called punitive segregation. But because this system is a bureaucracy and not and is absolutely 100% diametrically opposed to a biblical, godly, and just form of justice, it has these bizarre problems. Okay, these problems are inherent in any bureaucracy. The segregation definition, Grenda Harmer says, is to be used for either punitive or administrative reasons. And he says, as I made Warden Phillip aware, protective custody offenders are not segregation offenders and do not fit the punitive or administrative definitions. According to 501.16 letter V, protective custody offenders shall not be limited to any further extent than is necessary for their own well-being. I've consistently been pressing the issue for pod activities 7 days a week, he says, and consistently asked Warden Phillips, what legitimate penological objective does he have? in keeping PC offenders locked down on Saturdays and Sundays. I pointed out there is less going on Saturdays and Sundays, that we have pod activities during the weekdays when there is a host of events happening. Warden Phillips finally responded by allowing Captain Gibson to threaten me. So rather than responding to this complaint of loss of liberty within the hellhole of slavedom, there is a threat by a Captain Gibson. According to Grenda Harmer, on February 16th at 2:30 p.m., Captain Gibson stated that if I keep pressing the issue of allowing PC offenders to have pod activities, he says, on Saturdays and Sundays, that it'd go back to how it used to be, where we only get out for showers. In other words, nothing at all, though you are not in the punitive part of separation, but you are in the protected part of separation. So the officials are saying they're not any different. And Grenda Harmer is under protective custody because of threats made against him by gang members. And that's why he's there. So you're seeing a problem here, right? This is a letter that I'm reading to you from Grenda Harmer to Governor Haslam. The date is March 14. I'm getting it only now. Warden Phillips is punishing protective custody offenders for needing protective custody status versus why we are denied pod activities on Saturdays and Sundays and other ways as well. During the above three things will help change things. Doing the above three things will help change things and stop the abusive treatment. And that's a prisoner who really has no way out and who has been, I would say, an expert at using the administrative system to press his case for right treatment under the rules. And what I offer this. I offer this partly because I think it's important for people who are incarcerated to be justly treated within the parameters of so-called justice of Tennessee law and so-called justice and fairness of the regulations that flow from the statute and through the Department of Corrections, and which are the myriad policies. There are many, many policies that are part of the way the system is run, all pursuant to, hopefully, the law. And of course the Constitution and the oath of office. These high points, the Constitution and the oath, are the main points, and then down through the statutes, and then down through the regulations. There is a lot that a man can learn about in the prison system. And then, as Grenda Harmer has done, and also Robert Whipple, use those rules to bring about a good thing, and for himself and also for others. These two men have been very gracious, as I have gotten to know them by correspondence. They've been very gracious with others. They're very busy helping other inmates with their cases, with their legal analysis, with understanding basic principles of law. And the Whipple case, as you heard, he's saying, I'm not going to settle my lawsuit because you're denying, in bad faith, you're denying me Westlaw access. Westlaw, the terminal for looking up all cases, all legal cases, and court rulings and statutes. That's what the Westlaw terminal does. Like at UTC, there's the LexisNexis portal that I have used frequently. This is David Toulis, and I'm glad you're giving me just a couple minutes of your time. We are here at Nougat Radio 92.7, hosting Sean Hannity every day at 3 o'clock. The #1 talk show host in the country, very well-informed man, and a real conservative who has a heart for his country and a heart for the rule of law, not just the simulacrum versions of those, but genuinely, I think, endeavoring to explore the doings of Washington and the deep state and the good people, right? The good people on both sides of the aisle. They're all in the end, they're all very much alike, Republican and Democrat. And Hannity's a genuine conservative, but he is a nationalist, and you could say that in his praise, perhaps, and I'm sure many people would. He believes in the nation as a whole, and we have him here exclusively on 92.7 FM and also 95.3 FM HD4 high definition channel 4, and we are live on Facebook. We're always live on Facebook. It's Nougat Radio. Make sure you tune in. There's a button on the Facebook page down the left-hand column. I think it's maybe the second or third button. And that's the radio plugin. And if you click on that, we stream, the audio streams right through your Facebook page, right through your handheld device or your PC or your desktop, your Macintosh. or through your phone. The Facebook streams our shows, and any show you want to have, whether it's Bloomberg, whether that, or if you're coming into town or leaving town in the morning, you'll have the best local news with Russ and Val every morning, starting at 6 o'clock, up bright and sharp, and all the best news kept up to date for 3 hours every morning right here at Nougat Radio. Make sure you keep your dial set here. And I'd say a great thing you could do for yourself is to patronize all of our advertisers. We are radio, and radio works by having our advertisers get business from you, the listener. Make it personal, as I suggest. Make a personal commitment to support local media, locally owned media. Right? We're not a gigantic media company with billions of dollars in debt underneath us. We're a locally owned outfit. And we are about results. We bring results for you, the listener, and also for all of our advertisers. We have great sponsors on the David Tulis Show here and on all of our other shows. Great and wonderful sponsors. Make sure you make note of our sponsors and patronize them. Go to Keefe Plumbing, for example, if you have any needs there. And Kay Keefe and her great staff would love to help you. That's Keefe Plumbing, and then many others as well. Signal, Voice, and Data can take care of your telecom problems. You're having a phone system in your business where all the units are connected. It's not a telecom company exactly, but it's a phone company provider, an outstanding long-time provider here in Chattanooga. So these are the kinds of people that will make you prosper them and prosper with us. This is David Tulis. Love your neighbor and buy local. We argue for a local economy and the free market every day here on the David Tulis Show. And the number is 800-8949. Write that down and call me tomorrow. I'll make time for your call, 800-8949. David Tulis.
Nougat Radio.